All right, and we're back. All right, part two of drums. Now, it probably should be like a part three. It probably should like be split up, but I'm just gonna do this the way I feel like doing it because yeah. So if you didn't check out the first one, the first video was on just layering samples, basically how I go about that. Yeah, we made a kick in the snare. Yeah, and now I'm gonna make the rest of the drum kit, or like put the rest of it together. So if you remember the context, I'm reworking a tune just to try and make a different version of a 140 dubstep tune and making a drum and bass version. So the idea is something techie, very quick, punchy, like just rolls and rolls, kind of, my style, but a little different. It's been a while since I made a darker sounding tune. So, yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So we got the context. If you want to hear the actual sound and all these other stuff, check out the last video, or maybe the tune's out by now. You watching this. If you want to see this ahead of time, make sure you click that link in the description or wherever you're watching this to become a member on Patreon. Helps me out, gives me a little something, and you get things like these videos and stuff. Yeah, I normally have a better like write up or like speech, but hey, anyway. So here we go. We're gonna put the rest of the drum kit together. So we got kick and snare, so we did last video. You can see the layers and everything down there. They're all disabled and stuff. And honestly, after that, I'm still kind of like, I'm not 100% on the kick, but remember, it's a starting point. I'm gonna do some effects and stuff sooner, or I'm moving this mic closer. It's fine where it is. But now we're going to start working on some percussion, the other part of the loop, add more context to it. Because again, the context matters. The kick is going to sound different and feel different when there's other things going on. Okay? So I got a little hi-hat loop. Let's add that in. But it's super quiet. Let me do this. So the first time I just normalize it to bring up the volume. It's my own like loop from another track, Demagogues. And I like it. I think it just needs a bit more like character to match this. This is pretty kick and snare, pretty aggressive already. So in this case, heavy-handed. Not that, but okay. Adds a little bit of character. Now I'm gonna go for a transient. In this case, transient master, pretty easy. All the air. A little bit more attack. Yeah. So that's kind of, and now I'll make a different, I'm gonna have different grooves, so. Yeah, so that section's gonna feel a little different, than this one. And I'm gonna color it so I know it's variation and I can see it. All right, and then from there, what I'm gonna want, also context, I am like actively working on this, so I'm gonna like have to edit around a bit. So I knock out a video that might be useful and get a project done. And it kind of will show my thought process as usual. This is shaker. I don't want to deal with that right now because I'm going to be all in it. It's another hi-hat. It's got some weirdness going on. Is it being time stretched? Yeah, it's been sped up. So in this case, I don't want to time stretch it. Where's the other hi-hat? I think like low in the mix. This will help. So what do I want to do? This is not staying in time. Yeah, how about pull it back, slice up each individual one, because these are different hats. This is more like a live loop, and then I'll untime stretch it to make sure all the, like, it hits when I need to hit. And all I'm going to do is shorten it. No air, just a tick. And honestly, I might not use this. It's got some low end in it. I don't need that. Yeah. Simple enough. I'm going to copy that over because maybe I have that variation. All it is kind of reinforce it. I mean, in the full mix, I might not even be able to tell. But right now, just remember, always keep context in mind. Yeah, it adds a little bit, especially with this being like a live loop. Every sample is a little bit different length, different character timbre. So it just adds. Remember, if we're talking about layering, in this case, we're layering these hi-hats. So I'm gonna move those up, make sure this stuck together. I try to color code things that are similar. So those are like together. If you look down on like the bass, you can see those basses work together. The pink one's different, kind of thing. So context, we have a hi-hat and we have kick snare. I kind of like how this goes kick. It's actually a little bit more punchy than the first one. Because with the groove, like the swing of it, it's like anticipating, it's jumping. So it kind of has that like leap forward feel. Then maybe have this. Yeah. So this hi-hat loop or open like loop. This is, yeah. So kind of similar thing, really going for just space. And I know it's taking out some of the room, but I'm going to add in like reverb later to really tie it all together. That's just kind of the way I work. Right now I have like this collapsed to mono, but I might, we'll see. We'll see how it feels later. Still kind of building the groove. It's going to change as the tune moves on. Like none of my loops really stay the same. I might change that out, to be fair. Anyway. I got some other loops coming on because I did a basic arrangement of this. So if I've affected it, which is these two, I'm going to delete everything else. It's kind of like just there because those aren't like fades or anything like aren't there. Like I wanted it. Still don't want to mess with that shaker, but this thing, this came from Breaking News. It's a London Electricity sample pack. Sample. It just needs some volume, I think. It's kind of accent the snare. It's kind of a snare splash without being part of the snare, you know? And it's just the same thing over and over. So I don't have to do anything with that. While I'm thinking of it, I will do some side chaining so the snare like has its space, even though there's like loops and stuff going. But at the moment, don't really care. That's later. That's the mixing stage. We're just creating a loop right now. All right, so I know this is coming in later, but I don't really need to hear it now because the basic break. There's a swing. It's not my tune if I don't have it. So it's from Urban Dawn, sample pack. That's how it sounded. EQ, roll off, take away stereo. I might add back, still don't know. So that's no stereo, a little bit. The tune's gonna be pretty busy and full on. So yeah, I have a little side chain kind of thing with LFO tool to get a feel. So you have like big kicks, snare, little ones for ghost kicks. I don't know, might not leave it on there. But context. I'm having really like heavily affected like side chain. So you're gonna feel like the ducking, but when everything's doing it, it's gonna really create this like driving forward feeling, ideally. And you can see here, if you open up piano roll, I took out where the snare hits. There's a little clap sample. Now, there are variations. So the pink one I'm having is with no clap. The yellow one is with a clap. It will make a difference because that clap's going to become part of the snare. It's going to feel like another layer. So no clap. And then with a clap. You can hear it hitting with it. And that's going to give a different feel. Like it already feels different, you know? So yeah, just it adds to the energy. Plus I like a clap sound. Well, it's a little bit looser. And there you have this variation over here. Anyway, still building the loop. Now I got a little shaker in there. I'm going to want this other shaker to work with it. And it's got to be tight. And this one's not. It's a little too loose for me. So what I do in this case? I'm thinking just kind of nudge some stuff, to be honest. And I should only have to do it in this because it just repeats. That's not going to help me at all, dummy. Anyway, yeah. So let me just kind of go by grid. And again, you don't have to do this. But for me, it all makes a difference. So in this case, I'm going to select these later ones. I'm already off. So these later 3. Boom, boom, boom. I'll just make them a little bit ahead from where they are. Like the groove is there, don't get me wrong. But it's not feeling how I want to feel. What I need is some context. Yeah, it's really busy right now. That's a little too late. This is interesting. You skip this part already. Too much. Just making them shorter. And honestly, I might take transient shaper just because I know it'll, like I could go in and manually do it. But I think this will help a little bit. There you go. I'm starting to feel it. It's very subtle. I put a little LFO tool deal on it to kind of get a feel. Now let's put a context. Now, when I pull it down, the volume, this is important, right? Like, this is just a shaker. Like, it's there for feeling, but I'm not like, ooh, listen to that shaker. It sounds so cool. It's sticking out of the mix. No, it's just back there. Yeah, keep them centered. But now, like I was talking about earlier with the stereo information in this loop, I might want it now. Now, again, context, when the full tune's going, let me move this stuff. I need to work on that bass because it's not gonna groove. It's not really grooving, which is throwing me off, but I mean, it's fine. So what else? I know some other layers aren't showing up or I haven't pulled in yet. So this isn't really a loop. It's kind of effect. It was in one of those loops earlier. If you remember, one of the like snare loops, and I cut it out. But anyway, so what's this? That's a snare layer that never got used. Honestly, I get rid of that at this point. Oh yeah, I got these drums down here. So these are from Lost in the Black Lodge. The last like techie-ish bass heavy tune I did on a Mad Flavors EP, came out on Solvent. I want these to fit. But not all of them. Some of them are like just, one's gonna be for the intro. That'll work. So let's make that fit in the context. Oh, that's not gonna go. I might not want this in the tune at all. These other percussion, let me zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. Ah, there you go. That's like a little effect. That doesn't matter. That's another weird one. So yeah, all I really want to fit is these rides. Can I? Yeah, stick them on the same track. They're doing the same thing. Can I talk to you? That one tune. So it's got a left-right thing going, right? And I kind of want these to be gross. So compression, just heavy, disgusting compression. My go-to supercharger. More disgusting. Honestly, I might just crush the hell out of it. I don't know, we're just getting a vibe, right? This is how I build like I'm just doing it. I'll tame it. I'll pull it back later. Sorry, headphone users, including me. And this is going to be like sidechain to hell. That's just the vibe of this tune. So far. So let's just kick and snare it. I mean, when you want like the super like compressed. Yeah, this might not work. I might just keep them no effects dry. Who knows? That's how I feel. If I have those like left and right, maybe I want this one mono. And ideally these rods would be pushed back in the mix. What if? I don't know. Context. What if, let's work with me here. Yeah, cut. I just like did it so there's 2 hits. Just no real initial hit, but that could work. Not that little end thing. But then got that right. And then boom, 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 boom. Basically, I'm just like making them both hit because it's like a left, right, right. No, it's both. Nah, that didn't work. About this. So I can make like a 2-bar version so it doesn't repeat kind of how it's doing. So in that case, that's hitting there. This one will hit there. You can like see what channel it's on too. And that way, it doesn't feel like it's restarting, but it's just looping. Yeah, that's kind of it. You want to let the tails hang over it. So the tails are kind of going to like overlap because I want it to just last, you know what I mean? So in this case, I'm bringing this one. Yeah, it's going to be a weird one, isn't it? There you go. And so this is where I could do it just to like separate them and then bust the tracks. But remember, I'm lazy. So boom, boom, all the tails kind of carry over. And it's not a weird like shotgun sample sound. All right, let's check it. The idea is there. Anyway. Yeah, all right. So that's basically like the full-on loop. All that stuff's not going to be going on at the same time. It isn't. So now organization stuff, drum bus. Okay. This big group up here. So kick and snare go on their own thing. Everything else goes in percussion unless I have a specific reason for it not to. Okay, so I already have my side chain set up. So what I'm gonna do is pick something that's like real consistent because I want to set that up first. So this LFO tool doesn't matter anymore. And I personally like compression or sidechain compression. Anyway, okay, so these kicks are pretty short, but let's see how they react. If I need to make like a ghost kick just for a sidechain trigger or use the one that's there. Neither is wrong or correct. It's what you want. Make sure I have that. That's kind of the effect I want. Maybe not that drastic. Oh, I got an extra. Or it's hitting at the wrong time. There we go. Now, this might be a little much for you. Your taste. But for me, it's pretty nice. It's working out. All right. But you know, context is going to change things. So, here we go. Now, do I want the snare to have the exact same kind of release at 156? There we go. I just like it's less drastic on the snare because I just want the transient to knock through. So it's all right, another stuff. Okay. Now, do some level stuff. Yeah. All right, I always want to check in mono. Easiest way to gauge levels. Use some EQ. Okay. Yeah, give me an idea for later, actually. I'm starting to get a different feel. Cool. I don't want that sidechain. So that might be in its own group or just out there. It's like an accent. So in that case, I might bring that snare sidechain over just so it doesn't. This might be a little too like seasick for me. I don't know. So here we are. Honestly, I'm also not really feeling this first kick. Might be one of these actually. Or what if? Let's just see. All this. Experimenting. I kind of like this first. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's somewhere. Anyway, all right. So from here, now I'm gonna start processing at the bus level because I think I got the groove. Yeah, I feel like I do at least. I'm gonna change some things. I always do. Let me hit the basic. Why are they being pushed so hard? Which one? Both? I mean, I haven't. I'm gonna just do that. That's easier. Here we go. Normalize. Context. All these shakers sound a little quiet to me. But I know that anyway, what I'm gonna do, start processing this. So first things first, use a little high pass. Not that much. Let me pop up the thing for y'all to see. Yeah. Bring that down there, just out of the way. some high pass and all that. Nothing scientific about it. Now this stage, I might not do a whole lot, to be fair. Let me take away the ride. My favorite camel crusher that I can't use. I just presets. Give it a little extra something. You know, I'm gonna have to EQ around that and everything. And actually, that high pass is probably gonna go towards the end. Because Camel Crusher adds a little bit in. Yeah, it's already just tighten it, giving it something. You know what I mean? What's next? Everything's pretty down the middle. And I normally hate that, but the basses and the mid basses and all this other stuff is going to be so wide. Use a dynamic EQ to cut down on some of the harsh high end, but in a way that it only kicks in when it needs to. And then I was thinking about that. So like the noise, I normally add this in. I showed you, I made a video on this. That's super loud. Anyway, so what this is going to do is going to hit every time some hits, and it'll make sense in a second. So it's a little loud. Bring it down. Kind of use it as like a shaker. Change the noise. Use that kind of noise. Thought about using like a field recording or something. I'm gonna take out the low end. That's all it's adding is that, right? So kind of add to the body. But no, I don't need all that super high top. You can even automate it to be like, you know, short and then long, you know. That's all it's adding. But when you stick it behind like compression and other stuff, it really like beefs up the drums in a nice way, adds texture, which I like in my drums. I already have kind of a groove going. You saw a little work notification. That's normally I'm at work, but I'm on spring break at the moment. I had some rides in. All right. There's a lot going on. It's low end in this. I don't need that. I could hear it too. That's what's like bothering me. Oh, I'm not. That's why it sounds weird. I was adjusting volume based off not the sidechain. That should be it. I feel like I just want to smash this even more. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna some sibling stuff. Basically, the three's really high end, like that. This cuts down the harshness. A lot of it, like just even the harsh transients will do it too. Some side information. Yeah, okay. Cool. Now we're on to the drum bus. I'll probably do this rough because I'm going to change a lot of this. Limiter. Always checking in mono. Now, first thing I'm going to do is add a supercharger. Again, compression. Some people don't like using compression on drums. I do. Not that much. And I'm just going to back it off. Like 2 or 3 dBs, right? But I'm sticking on the dirt and the punch. Immediate difference. Make sure we level match it. Yeah. So compression off. Let's check it. And then width. Not a lot different. Character change. Yeah, I like that. Visual or peaks and stuff, not so much. It's just slight compression. So at this point, it's subtlety. I did most of the work at the track level. So save, always gotta do that. Now after this, reverb. Gotta get that room feel. Oh yeah, no. So I have my own little preset. It's basically the ambience, very small ambience, drum ambience. Roll off all that low end. Yeah, and I actually put it on the drum bus. Yeah. Just slightly. And if you put it ahead of the compressor, nice flavor. So that's ahead, like before the compressor. And after, yeah, it's similar. But before the compressor, really just like it breathes and reacts with the pumping. Yeah. All right. So nothing with. All right, that's that. What else? So EQ, balance. Yeah, most of that's taken care of. Also, admittedly, my ears are kind of like, I haven't been taking any breaks, so. Yeah, a little slight EQ. I think I just turned it off. I think I had some high end. Anyway. Yeah, it's not a different sound. Yeah. Then lately I've been using that radiator. Again, this is all character. I could have stopped by now. Honestly, not this one. What about sausage fat? It's like 2%. 2%. Yeah, I'm like, now that I'm like crushing it, not like doing well, but like just compressing. Starting to hear some different stuff pop up. Nah, I don't really want that. All right, so from here, let's get K-clip. Clip it. I kind of do like do that just like, cause it'll set it up. Level match. Like a tone in this reverb I'm not liking. And it's from the snare. Yeah. You can hear it now, right? Yeah, cool. So K-clips in there. Just clip riffing off the top, a little bit limiting without, with slight stuff. And then I'm gonna stick a limiter. Ozone's favorite. I'm gonna level match this. Not that way. It's like one or two off the top, a little off the top. Then bring that back up. Kind of just match these RMS levels. That's enough for me. And that's a finished drum break for now. It's very, that's how I'll process it, and I'll probably do a little bit less or more. I'll tweak some things. Right now it's a little bit over, it feels a little overdone. That's because I've been doing this like one long stretch instead of like I normally do. But it's all right. I'm still kind of feeling it out. You got to be like mindful of like at this stage, like I'm slightly compressing, slightly limiting every now and then. But towards the end, when it's very full on, you start having these extra layers. It's going to affect things differently, you know, in a way you might not necessarily hear because everything's so in stages. So you got to look through. It's like, all right, is it the track level that it's like too loud? Or is it the bus level? Is it, you know, this, that? But everything is very slight. Like I didn't do anything really all that heavy handed. That wasn't from a sound design perspective. From like a mixing point, it's just balance with EQ, taming some peaks and pulling things together through compression or clipping or what have you. But it's all slight, subtle stuff. If I take everything off, it really doesn't sound too different. It sounds different, but like, so if I just take everything off the master, right? Or the bus, the drums bus. Then I put everything back on. Auditorially, it's not much different. It's a little bit more rich in the high end. The mids kind of come up and level out with the rest, you know, in a way. There's a little bit more grit from like the saturation and stuff going on. The balance changes a wee bit, and that's always going to change, especially when I add in bass. I'm like, oh, there's too much high end in these drums, or add a melodic element. Oh, there's too much something. Like, but again, we're talking about context, so let's add the bass lines and everything. Honestly, that sounded better than I thought it would. I thought I kind of lost the plot along the way, but I guess I've been doing this long enough. This method, I haven't always done this way, that I know kind of what I'm going for. Like again, like I'm all over the place, but knowing what you want ahead of time, biggest thing. When drums like this, you really want to, like any drums, honestly, I think within drum and bass, you want to make sure you start with the good sounds, that you really take time, work them before you start processing. If they don't stand up at least enough before you start adding plugins and stuff, they're not going to stand up afterwards. Not without a headache, and eventually you'll probably go back to square one. So in this case, quick recap. I say quick in the context of this has been an hour and 15 minutes. Edited down to whatever it's edited down to. I started with like each individual element. The first video we made the kick and snare, cool. I gathered all these hi-hats. Remember, some of them are a little long, some of them are a little short, okay? So I elongated, I shortened them, I layered this other one just for some body. Again, I might take it out because with the drums full on, it doesn't really make a difference to me right now. Made things shorter, made sure the groove between the shakers and stuff worked. Like, see, on their own, sounds kind of insignificant, but together, remember it's a drum kit, it's all working together. That kind of thing, did some sound designy type stuff on these rides to really crush them. make them up front. At the percussion, like bus level, percussion, loops, breaks, what do you want to call them? For me, it's just percussion because that's what it is. I did slight processing, just character and like fitting them together in the same space. Some side chains so the kick and snare really have their space. Let me add them in first, dummy. Then some just slight character and like taming stuff at the drum bus level, okay? So you added that reverb. I didn't want dry. Slight room sound, right? Compression, slight, little bit. And some hot saturation. EQ, a little bit of top end. It comes out the more I limit and things like that. Balance. Remember I had that weird like peak with the reverb and the snare. Got clip. Only slightly clipping. Slightly limiting, like a dB.5. And that's it. Sausage fatness on there. I'm gonna take that away. Now there's gonna be a lot more tweaking to be had with this. But for the most part, that's my finished drum break. Remember, we're talking about starting points. So our first starting point was just gathering samples for the kick and snare. Then we had the kick and snare, how I wanted them. Next starting point, filling in the rest of the break. Next starting point was having the groove realized. So we start processing. After I fully processed the percussion bus altogether. Next point, the drums as a whole. And then after that, it's like, once I have this, I'm just building the rest of the tune because everything else is processed and ready to go. I might do some bouncing, some rearranging just to make sure like things feel a certain way. Or, you know, instead of some things being mono, I have them wide and panned. I don't know yet because that's a characteristic that'll come when I know the rest of the tune. But for now, we're in a good spot. So that's a long-winded way of putting a break together, but that's what you asked for. You wanted like a square run. How do you do it? This is how we did it. So, yeah. If something I missed or skipped over, you got more questions, just, you know, always ask. Comments, Patreon, social media, Discord. Just get at me. I'm happy to help. Yeah, Winslow. That's it. Later. I get a little bit of context to the tune. Why not? All right, give me the drums though, genius. That's all you get. You'll hear it when it comes out, if it ever comes out. Later.